power transmission line. Power sector experts chart course for increase in electricity supply. Niger Delta Power Holding Company clinches Public Service Award. The federal government of Nigeria has announced another milestone in the progress of the Presidential Power Initiative as the power transformers it ordered have passed a factory acceptance test at Siemens Energy Factory in Trento, Italy.
According to a statement from the Office of the Minister of Power, Engineer Abubakar D. Aliu, a team of Nigerian engineers led by the Managing Director of the Federal Government of Nigeria Power Company, Mr. Kenny Anuwe, witnessed the factory acceptance test of the mega transformers ordered by the federal government under the first phase of the Presidential Power Initiative (PPI). The transformers will start arriving in Nigeria in September, the officials said. In December 2021, the Federal Executive Council approved funds towards realizing the partnership between Nigerian government and Siemens Energy. The Presidential Power Initiative (PPI) was set up by President Muhammadu Buhari to engage the global energy giant Siemens of Germany for the upgrade and modernization of Nigeria's electricity value chain to deliver stable electricity across the country. The statement said the federal government is totally committed to improvements and will not be distracted.
The management of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, has restated the commitment to rapidly repair a fault at the 132-33 kV Katampe transmission substation in Abuja. However, at the moment, the in-house engineers successfully isolated the faulty section in less than 2 hours after its occurrence and restored normal bulk power supply to distribution load centers.
The Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of TCN, Engineer Dr. Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz, and some management officials inspected the Katampe substation shortly after the fault. After a briefing from officials at the facility, the TCN head directed for the immediate repair works on the faulty section while ensuring that normal operations are sustained at the substation. The next day, the MD of TCN, Engineer Abdulaziz, along with his management team, re-inspected the repair works at the Katampe substation, where he reiterated the commitment of the company to promptly fix the faults and forestall future occurrence. One of the substation's 33 kV feeders current transformer supplying the LifeCamp axis shattered and in the process tripped one of the 60 MVA 132-33 kV transformers. The officials promptly isolated the 240 equipment to enable TCN to supply bulk electricity through the other transformers in the substation. Power supply was restored to all areas affected by the incident at about 20:38 hours, about 2 hours after the fault occurrence. Meanwhile, the TCN maintenance crew had already been mobilized to repair the affected equipment just as the company apologized for the earlier power disruption the incident caused.
Let's take a break. More reports shortly.
Oh my God, what caused this fire? Eh? God help us. Assuming this thing happened in the night, nobody from this building would have come out alive.
Madam, this is why we have warned landlords not to erect structures under the high voltage lines. If this high voltage line fell on the ground, nothing would have happened. But because this structure has been wrongly erected and the high voltage line fell on it, that is why whatever has happened has happened. We advise landlords to always consult the Transmission Company of Nigeria on their safety compliance on the right of way, so that something like this does not happen again.
Oga, we are talking of burnt house and you are talking of right of way. What is right of way and safety compliance?
Safety compliance simply means before erecting any structure around any electricity tower or line, there are safety distances you must adhere to. These safety distances are 25 meters on both sides of the electric tower in the case of a 330 kV, 15 meters on both sides of the electric tower in the case of a 132 kV, and 7.5 meters on both sides of the electric tower in the case of a 33/11 kV. These stipulated safety distance instructions are what we call right of way. If these simple, basic safety distances are adhered to, trust me, there will be less loss of property and lives resulting from cut transmission lines.
Visit Transmission Company of Nigeria office nearest to you for your safety regulations before erecting structures. Let us save lives and properties and build a stronger Nigeria. This message is from the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, transmitting electricity in the most efficient and effective manner.
The Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, through its World Bank Project Implementation Unit, PIU, recently launched Grievance Redress Mechanism Strategy Guideline in Abuja, which will help the company to quickly resolve issues relating to right of way of power transmission projects under the unit. The power circuit was at the launch ceremony where some management officials of TCN shared their views on the expectations for accelerated transmission project delivery with the strategy in place.
In an interview shortly after the strategy booklet launch, the General Manager Transmission Services, Engineer Jimmy Adetola, who performed the ceremony on behalf of the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of TCN, Engineer Dr. Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz, spoke about the impact of the grievance redress mechanism in the power sector.
This grievance redress mechanism is going to assist TCN a lot in actualizing some of our projects. You see, presently we have a lot of way-leave issues. The communities that we are using the corridor for our land, most of the time they don't allow us to work. They have one issues, some demands that we find difficult to even meet up with. But with this mechanism and the consultants who are professionals who know about this thing, they are coming in, giving all this strategy, will help us. Like as I said in my address, we have some projects we are yet to deliver just because of simple way-leave issue, and this is really affecting TCN.
Also speaking about the milestone, the General Manager Program Coordination at TCN, Engineer Joseph Chiroma, said the workshop was to ease the resolution of right-of-way issues for power transmission projects being funded by the World Bank, African Development Bank, the French Development Agency AFD, among other international financing agencies.
Today's workshop is very key to us, particularly in the transmission sector, in the transmission department of the power sector. We're involved in construction of transmission lines that transverse from one state to another into hundreds of kilometers of lines, and also need enough space in the building of our substations. Most of our projects today have been delayed because of the issue of way-leave, because of the issue of environmental issues, and today we are trying to see how we can partner to move closely with the community that we intend to do this project, for them to understand first the importance of this project, not only to their community but to Nigeria as a whole. The money the federal government of Nigeria has also put in to build those power lines and substations, and the benefits that they all stand to gain years after years. But we cannot just force them in taking over their properties, their land, but there has to be a kind of understanding and a kind of reasoning for them to know what are the things that need to be, compensated, and those that don't need to compensate.
He said the complaint redress mechanism strategy booklet takes into consideration the local languages of the host communities where power transmission lines traverse.
This booklet is written in English, in Hausa, and also in Igbo, and also in Pidgin English, so that I can pick it up. If you have any complaint on the issue when TCN is executing projects, there are procedures which you can follow. Where to go first. We have also provided free toll lines where you can call at any time. You can speak as long as you want in trying to address your own complaints. So that's where we are, and we hope that this initiative, which we will continue to monitor, this initiative will continue to review from time to time. It's our belief that this will work, and our projects going forward will not be hindered by community relation issues.
Some regional transmission managers in charge of the various transmission regions of the company actively participated in the workshop. The regional transmission manager of Port Harcourt region of TCN, Engineer Tom Inugonum, made comments about the booklet.
The grievance redress mechanism is not only for those that encroaching our right of way. We have the right to make our own grievance, to tell the government, the state government, that our right of way has been encroached. And so those people that are built on the right of way, they are at a risk, both health-wise and even their building should be demolished. We are not saying it because we want to destroy people's building, but we are saying it because there is a magnetic effect, magnetic field that is, coming down from the network, from the transmission lines, that will impact negatively on the health of the individual. So there is it's not a one-way thing, it is a two-way. We equally have to make our own grievances to the state government, telling them this is what is happening and we don't want it. There is a particular right of way clearance, 15 meters on both sides for 132 and 25 meters on both sides for 330. So they should allow that clearance. They should give way and build as from that clearance that was given. Now, I will equally say that what I have seen this morning is as a result of people that are trying to, make sure that the right thing is done.
The project manager, World Bank funded projects at TCN, Engineer Tukurba Mali, said the company has fully taken ownership of the grievance redress mechanism to ensure it hastens the delivery of power transmission projects.
All the GMs from various regions came for this training, and we have shared all the booklets and leaflets for them to use in their regional offices. And also for the World Bank team, we are in TCM PMU, we are utilizing all the provisions or the plan given by the consultant to address all the grievances that may arise during the implementation of this NETAP project. We are working in about 56 substations across the country in Nigeria, and we will utilize the facility given by the grievances mechanism consultant to address all the grievances that are arising when we are implementing the project.
To ensure that power disruption in any form is proactively eradicated, the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, says the company has completed the replacement of glass insulators with silicon polymers insulators on a section of the 132 kilovolts Funtua to Gusau transmission line.
The maintenance work was completed earlier than scheduled in 5 days due to the accelerated work on the site prompted by TCN's desire to reduce the inconveniences it would have caused for electricity consumers. With all hands on deck, the TCN engineering crew worked to replace all installations on 22 towers within 5 days and restored power supply to all affected areas immediately after the line was energized.
It was a breeding ground for knowledge exchange at this year's International Power Engineering Exhibition and Conference in Abuja, where power sector experts discussed recommendations for increasing electricity supply.
Speaking at the opening ceremony of the conference, the National President, Nigerian Institute of Power Engineers, NIPE, Engineer Israel Abraham, urged the government to work towards improved electricity supply and the overall health of the power sector.
We want to talk about it, look at all the issues involved, bring out all the necessary solutions, and then we can go back home believing that implementing those solutions that are profiled will actually bring us to where we want to be. Because we have a dream. We know where we want to be. We want to look like other countries that have made it. We want to look like Singapore. We want to be like the UK and all kind of countries like that. But that will not fall on us if one of these items I've just identified is not taken care of. If you have an industry where everybody is seen as ownership, then that industry, the crisis will continue. I believe that we can sit here, come up with other issues about it, but I want us to look also at that area I've just identified as one of the reasons I think there's crisis in industry. I want to wish us all the very best. The conference is kicking off, and please come with an open mind.
The Executive Director, Independent System Operations at TCN, Engineer Muhammad Lawal, who was represented by the General Manager, System Planning at TCN, Engineer Kabiru Adamu, said with experts' recommendations from power engineers, the sector can be fixed. The Vice Chancellor of Nile University and conference host, Professor Dili Dogo, said if the power sector is fixed, it would boost industrialization and economic growth. The Executive Director Networks at the Niger Delta Power Holding Company, NDPHC, Engineer Oluwa, in his keynote address said a master plan implementation will help to address issues in the power sector.
It is time to prepare a credible, long-term master plan spanning at least 30 years for the development of electricity in Nigeria. The master plan should be broken down to 5-year rolling plans with practicable, realizable targets for each sector. Preparation of the master plan should be carried out using international best practices in consultation with policymakers and stakeholders in the industry. In doing this, we must avoid putting up jamboree or blame games. We need to restructure and strengthen the regulatory agencies. Appointments in these bodies must be based on proven competence, experience, and demonstrable integrity. Agencies must be independent from government and political influences and must be empowered to enforce the rules and regulations in the sector.
She's 5 there.
Guys, I have a business that can change our lives.
Business?
Business that can change our lives.
Guys, if money is involved, take it. But don't know the kind of business.
Business is business.
Okay. My guy. See, no.
Real money. And there's a big market for it.
Wait, is it vandalism that you have brought me here to do?
Yes!
Something that can take me to jail. Something that can destroy our economy and spoil what the government wants to achieve.
Real money.
I can't. See it, man. I can't.
Even you, shut up your mouth. I will never go to jail. Vandalism. God forbid. God forbid. Look at the people I want to help. Thank you. I beg you. This is the handwork of the devil. Please.
Be part of our economic growth. Do not destroy electricity power installations. Do not destroy government effort to provide electricity for all. Report any suspicious person found stealing or loitering around power installations to any security operatives close to you or to the nearest transmission company of Nigeria office.
This message is brought to you by the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, transmitting electricity in the most efficient and effective manner.
The Niger Delta Power Holding Company Limited has been recognized as the best company in public service. The power circuit brings you a spotlight of the company's role in the power sector. Stay with us.
The Niger Delta Power Holding Company, NDPHC, is an intervention company set up by the 3 tiers of government to deliver a mandate of providing robust power infrastructure for the national grid. It has built 10 power generation plants and associated gas facilities. The company has also contributed to the network of power transmission facilities and power distribution. It is on the basis of this that the company recently won the Best Company in Public Service at the 4th edition of the Business Day Excellence Award in Abuja. Some top officials of the company were on ground to receive the award for the company. As a highlight of some of its milestones, the company's officials in a scorecard presentation said it has contributed to the national transmission system capacity expansion while it works to deliver new transmission projects under the National Integrated Power Projects (NIPP). The projects span 194 kilometers of 330 kilovolts transmission lines and 887 kilometers of 132 kV transmission lines, as well as transmission substations. In a separate interview, the managing director of NDPHC, Mr. Chedu Ubo, also spoke about the role the company is playing in the federal government Siemens presidential power project, meant to improve power supply when completed.
The Siemens project, which is an initiative of the president, is there for us to see to ensure that we clean up the networks, which is a major challenge in the industry. Of course, like I said, we have enough generation capacity now, or we have about 13,000. We have, out of those 13,000, we have about 8,000 available to generate. So just turn the keys and start in. So Siemens is coming to ensure that that 8,000 actually gets to homes, at least 7,000.
Before we sign out, here are the top reports. Federal government ordered power transformers pass factory acceptance test in Italy. TCN management accelerates repair at Katampe substation. New grievance redress mechanism to fast-track completion of power transmission projects, says TCN officials. TCN completes maintenance on 132 kilovolts Funtua-Gusau transmission line. Power sector experts chart course for increase in electricity supply. And we told you that the Niger Delta Power Holding Company has gained recognition on Public Service Award. Keep it up with TCN as you watch our episodes on the TCN YouTube channel. Also visit these platforms to learn more about TCN and its mandate of delivering improved bulk electricity nationwide. I am Amara Agogoisi. Hope to see you again.
Voting is the most precious right of every citizen, and we have a moral obligation to ensure the integrity of the voting process.
The voter is at the center of everything involving election and electoral process. The voter is the final person that decides who wins. The role of commission is to organize election, But elections generally depends on the decision of the voter on election day to cast his ballot to the person or party of his choice.
It is a law in the democratic system of government in Nigeria to elect representatives after every 4 years. So there is a need for voters to exercise some rights.
You can only vote on presentation of your permanent voter card at the designated registration area or the registration unit where you registered. Citizens should understand that the value of permanent voter card is to enable them vote on election day.
Today, African music has a dominant place on the world map. This massive music movement creating waves across the globe.
I have seen the evolution and the growth of this industry.
But every movement starts with a story, and the best place to start any story is at the very beginning.
It's hormonal energy that can only have come from Africa.
What limits you? Nothing. What defines you? No one. Where can you go? Everywhere. With unlimited super-fast internet access, free Intel to Intel calls, and crystal clear quality conversations, you can do and be whatever you want to be. Intel. Give more.
The need to improve the quality and quantity of goods and services available for consumption in Nigeria is critical in increasing total wealth and improving our well-being.
The National Productivity Center has the mandate to impact productivity consciousness in all sectors of the Nigerian economy, as well as build skills and competences for the enhancement of national and international competitiveness.
Productivity is teamwork. Let us join hands together to make Nigeria a productive and prosperous nation.
National Productivity Center, promoting productivity in our nation.
A voter has a right to vote on a voting system that is in perfect working condition. A voter has a right to vote free from coercion or intimidation by election officers or any other person. Do you know your responsibilities as a voter? Now is the time to familiarize yourself with them. Familiarize yourself with the candidates and the issues. Maintain a current address with the office of the supervisor of the elections. Know the location of the polling units and the hours of operation. Bring proper and accurate identification to the polling station. Familiarize yourself with the operation of the voting equipment in your area. Report any problems or violations of election laws to the supervisor of the elections. Ask questions where and if.
It's another Wednesday night, and you're right on time for the news with the extra torch that goes beyond the ordinary. And I am Ian Ray John, standing in for your regular anchor, Fatima Umar Buba. I tell you, tonight is no different, and we'll begin with Plateau State Governor, who, as guest of Mr. President, gave him the assurance of one good turn deserves another from the people of Plateau, while conveying the appreciation of the federal presence the state is enjoying courtesy of the APC-led administration. On security comes the air of freedom for 7 additional victims of the Abuja Kaduna train attack. Trailing this is the wake-up call on the need for parents to be up and doing in making sure that their words don't get conscripted into the evil group of terrorists. We have a hope-raising story on Ajaokuta steel plant as the current administration intensifies efforts at realizing the takeoff deadline. A stitch in time saves 9 is the feelers from the traffic along the Lekki-Ekpe axis in Lagos ahead of the takeoff of Dangote refinery, cement and deep sea port. Why are Nigerian youths not attracted to farming in spite of the goodies that come with it? We shall find out. There's quite a bit on health, ranging from what Nigeria has put in place to prevent the Marburg virus from spreading to its shores, to the prevention and available treatment options for fibroid in women. We're still basking in the euphoria of how the Amazons of Nigeria shone brightly at both the World Athletic Championship and the just concluded Commonwealth Games. Don't miss out on our spotlights on sexism in sports. We have much more on our lineup, so sit back for the full package as the taste of the pudding lies in the eating. Welcome. And don't forget, you can follow this news broadcast live on our website, nta.ng/live, and all our social media platforms displayed on the screen for updates. We'll begin from the State House tonight as Governor Simon Lalong of Plateau State has expressed formal appreciation to President Muhammadu Buhari for what he called the unprecedented federal presence across the state. The governor is assuring the president that Plateau people will pay back by ensuring that the governing APC retains power for the sustenance of his worthy legacies. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the details.
Governor Simon Lalong, who is also the chairman of the Northern Governors Forum and Director General of the Tinubu-Shetima Presidential Campaign Organization, is here to say thank you to President Muhammadu Buhari. He enumerated 7 major recent additions to the federal presence in Plateau made possible by the president.
We just got approval making University of Jos as a cancer center. I saw about 3-point-something billion approved and a special center for cancer. So it's not a small achievement. The president approved the establishment of an orthopedic hospital, the only one in the North Central, and he approved Plateau State. He also approved the establishment of a federal medical center in Wase. Another one is the Federal Polytechnic, starting this year. Mr. President also approved the conversion of our College of Education, Pansin, to a Federal University of Education, and immediately approved the establishment of another Federal College of Education. We were just celebrating that one. When we understand that Mr. President has also approved the establishment of the Nigerian Law School, the Zonal Law School for North Central, and is established in Jos.
Governor Lalong said a high-powered delegation from Plateau State is soon to be in Abuja to formally show gratitude to President Muhammadu Buhari for his magnanimous disposition to the home of peace and tourism.
The fact that the president has done these things in Plateau State, the best thing you can do to the president is to follow his direction on whoever will take over from him. That is one way of paying him back for what he has done. Today, the confidence is placed highly on the people of Plateau State by the appointment of the man that is going to spearhead the campaigns. So if we lose that election, it means we don't have confidence in President Muhammadu Buhari.
The governor used the forum to react to media reports that Khan demands that he rejects his recent appointment as Director General of the APC Presidential Campaign Organization because of the Muslim ticket being fielded by the party.
I don't even know where they are. I hold a papal knight. And as a Catholic, everything we do, we send the advice to the Pope. The Pope has not told me that what I'm doing is bad. But generally, as a governor of a state, I'm not responsible to only my faith. When it comes to politics, it's a matter of choice, matter of interest. All we're talking about is good leadership. We can come from any religion. I am a member of the APC. I will say a founding member of the APC. I don't do anti-party activities. If at any time, some people who wanted to be VT lost out, and they are using religion. They should not use me to help them.
Governor Lalong was emphatic that the people of Plateau will stand to be counted in the task of protecting and sustaining President Buhari's legacies by voting massively for the APC in the forthcoming elections. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
And some terror news, 7 additional victims of Abuja Kaduna train attack who have been in captivity for more than 4 months have regained their freedom. Among them are 4 children, their parents and a 60-year-old woman. Sources revealed that the release of this additional set of victims was at the instance of a Kaduna-based Islamic cleric, Dr. Ahmed Abubakar Gome. A 60-year-old is said to be battling with health challenge.
I would like to sincerely appreciate the man who has been an uncle throughout this ordeal with all the people that have been arrested, including myself. And I sincerely also want to appreciate Sheikh who personally came here to receive myself and my family.
This is the right thing. But you know it cost. So now as we are going to see lives, we are going to see these children, the trauma of these children, and we are going to these children to grow. So whatever it takes to bring out these children, to me there's no boundary. First done, and bring them out. Whatever it is.
Meanwhile, only officers trained to handle sophisticated arms should man custodial centers. Follow-up to that is the need to build their capacity to competently bear and use sophisticated arms in defense of.
The Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola, was in Kaduna to officiate personal ceremony of officers of the Nigerian Correctional Service. 102 Assistant Superintendent Corrections graduated at a brief and colorful ceremony. Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola, stressed the need for officers and men to always remain in red alert in view of the security situation, which makes custodial centers target of attacks.
Measures for neutralizing attack are still not sufficient to raising the capacity to stand up and defend their facility.
While in Kaduna, the minister was at Kaduna Medium Security Custodial Center where he interacted with security operatives deployed to man the facility. He asked them to remain alert 24/7 to ensure the center is completely secured.
We are mobilizing support of other security agencies, particularly the military, to reinforce the defense and security of our facility.
The visit offered the minister first-hand information on the situation of Kaduna Custodial Center and the need to address its problems. In Kaduna, Atari Maxwell, NTA News.
Let's turn our attention to other issues now. Ajaokuta steel plant, a plant that is yet to bear fruits 43 years after. Ajaokuta steel plant will take off under my administration. This statement has become the Ajaokuta steel anthem for every administration. 2023 is timeline given by the present administration to revive the Ajaokuta steel plant. Near Ogidi, for once away from the corridors of INEC, was at the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development for an Ajaokuta-related event and comes back with another hope-raising story.
Loud but an interesting sound that the federal government wants to hear. An Ajaokuta steel plant yet to give that sound. It is the sound that comes with steel production.
Most of the plant is actually under the ground.
43 years on, Ajaokuta is no longer getting any younger. What is stunted growth? A growth that has deprived the plant from taking its place as the nerve center of the nation's economy, taking huge capital flight out of the country in steel importation. Visitor after visitor, all giving hope.
Within the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, before he leaves office in 2023, that we should achieve Ajaokuta by the grace of God.
That was July 2020. Yours was in the team when the minister visited and members of the National Assembly. And less than a year, that promise will expire. It is August 2022. Will the Minister of Mines and Steel clear the doubts?
Now we're
at the clothing line, just to breast tape, and Ajaokuta will emerge better and stronger without any encumbrance.
While we remain standing within the national anthem.
It is no longer a lonely journey for the Mines Minister. The Minister of Finance has also joined the Ajaokuta rescue team.
Take advantage of. The government is prepared to provide the support to the businesses that need to invest in the steel sector to enable us achieve aspirations that we are targeting.
Two promises from two ministers, and promises coming at the inauguration of a 10-man council for steel development in Nigeria. The Minister of Mines and Steel is expounding his promises even beyond the Ajaokuta territory.
I apply to the federal government on the establishment in Nigeria of additional iron and steel industry, especially of the private sector.
Fingers crossed. Will this be the last chapter of the dark days of the Ajaokuta steel industry? Let the Council of the Wise continue work, and the result will answer that question in positive or otherwise. Mie Ogide, NTA News.
While the Council of Elders continue work on Ajaokuta, let's move to the Payset estate, where despite being the world's largest cassava producer, sadly, Nigeria is an importer of cassava byproducts. It seems the sad story is ending and the new lease of life is coming through a cassava-based factory that has come with an important cassava byproduct. Kayode Oladosu in this report examines what the nation will derive from this new byproduct.
Cassava represents a valuable subsistence and cash crop and agricultural production in Nigeria that has continued to thrive as raw materials for industrial production of different goods. One of such is sorbitol, a sweetener, colorless liquid with 60% sweetness ratio to that of sucrose, also known as common sugar. Its calories ratio is about 40% lower to sucrose. This byproduct is now to be produced in Nigeria and first in Africa through a cassava-based factory with intention to reduce the nation's reliance on importation of sorbitol and to drive agricultural industrialization.
This is an example of a linkage between agriculture and industrialization, and that's job creation, value-added job creation, and making life very, very abundant for our people.
It's a good business. It's something that you just have to be patient. It's not a business you put money today and expect profit tomorrow.
The project is part of the federal government's commitment in the agricultural value chain through the Central Bank of Nigeria Commodity Development Initiative aimed at promoting agricultural production for the nation's economy.
We finance all the value chain of agriculture from production, processing, and marketing. And we are also aware that cassava, from cassava you get so many other products, from millet to high quality cassava flour, and then to this sorbitol.
The factory, situated at Alaide Village, Ado Awaye, is saying local government area of Oyo State has capacity to produce 25 tons of sorbitol per day and a projection of about 70,000 metric tons in a year. The factory will also turn around cassava farmers' fortune in the country. In Ibadan, Kayode Oladosu, NTA News.
As we are aware, the only thing constant in life is change. It's in line with this dictum that Nigeria's telecommunication regulator, NCC, is aligning its operations to be in tandem with recent developments in the telecommunications industry globally. It amended 5 of its regulatory instruments and they are undergoing review for industry players to make contributions for viable service delivery. Chimdoma Ndobesi brings us details.
NCC, the watchdog of the nation's telecommunications industry, focusing closely on strict compliance of standards and guidelines by operators. Dynamism of the telecommunication industry with the deployment of 5G network expand the task of the Commission. Going by expectations of investment growth and influx of new devices, the review of these 5 regulatory instruments type approval, short code operations, technical specifications for deployment of communication infrastructure, advertisements and promotions, as well as consumer code of practices becomes necessary to give the user satisfaction and ensure environmental safety.
5 years will be how much time we should allow any regulatory instrument, to be used. We normally make our rules in a manner that is consultative.
In the draft type approval regulation, there is now provision for experimental license to import telecommunication devices for test run before seeking final approval for full importation.
I did a new clause on reasons whereby the company can revoke a license to a device. The main three ones are a threat to national security, if there's a defect, and if it was approved through fraud. If, let's say, a manufacturer wants to hire a new band, the previous device cannot serve as an approval, so we don't have to revoke the approval. Now, what we have done is to solely make it the responsibility of the Commission to allocate shortcuts, manage shortcuts, and administer shortcuts.
Some industry operators registered reservations on parts of amended sections which NCC promised to reconsider. In Abuja, Chimdema NDPHC, NTA News.
Let's now take a look at security, as the police will spare no expense in discharging their constitutional roles towards successful conduct of the 2023 general elections. And for a smooth sail across the often rough and risky terrains of elections, early and broad-based interagency collaborations are indispensable. Now, these are some of the takeaways from a zonal workshop on security management towards successful 2023 elections holding in Kano, from where Ihanasu Hassan reports.
2023 general elections fast approaching. The challenges and risk factors well known. Hence, adequate and timely preparations necessary for smooth sail across the risky terrains of the elections. Peaceful and successful conduct of these elections, experts believe, will require a multifaceted approaches through interagency collaborations. This gathering of officers and men of the Nigeria Police, other security agencies, and the electoral umpire is for cross-fertilization of ideas or role expectations from all the parties before, during, and after elections. Issues of concern includes managing mental health and stress among security personnel, the Electoral Act, and other constitutional provision of concern to security agencies.
Partnering and is actively participating in this workshop so that we can all be on one page and we can think thoroughly about the issues that need to be attended to before the 2023 general election.
The police is the lead agency, but we don't work in a vacuum. We work in cooperation with other security agencies, the military, the immigration, the prisons. So we want to, develop a template where our working arrangement will be seamless.
This, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Ali Baba, says, will be accorded priority, especially in the face of the current security challenges.
The police officers to prepare their mind so that they'll be able to confront all sorts of security challenges during the election.
At the end of the workshop, with the theme, Enhancing National Security Capacity for a Secure and Credible Electoral Process in Nigeria, participants are expected to disseminate the knowledge garnered to their colleagues across the zones. In Kano, Johannes Hassan, NTA News.
Away from the center of commerce, now in the presidential villa, President Muhammadu Buhari has appointed former permanent secretary, Ecological Project Office, Dr. Habiba Muda Lawal, as special advisor to the president on policy and coordination. Before retirement, Dr. Lawal had successfully supervised a team that ensured management, identification, planning, and execution of projects to mitigate serious ecological challenges across the country, with commendable results. Dr. Lawal, who served as acting secretary to the government of the Federation 19th April 2017 to 30th October 2017, has resumed in her new office. Now, taking every possible measure to achieve the desired coverage of civil and birth registration in nations across Africa resonates on this year's Africa Civil Registration and Vital Statistics Day. But what is the state of civil registration systems in Nigeria? Africa's most populous nation. Oluseyi Adiagbo's report provides answers and x-rays the import of the Africa Civil Registration and Vital Statistics Day.
Anytime the National Population Commission is mentioned, its census, of course, but timely registration of vital events, particularly births and deaths, through functional civil registration and vital statistics systems, is also well central to the mandate of Nigeria's population body, the NPC. 27-year-old Ayuba Muhammad is a father of two. He plies his trade directly opposite Population House. Despite this proximity, is yet to have a birth certificate.
Why don't you have birth certificate? So that's what about my village. I think I said I about it to size.
The awareness being created by the National Population Commission is for people like Muhammad. In the Multiple Indicator Cluster Survey, MICS 2021's report, that registration coverage in Nigeria is still put at 43%, and increasing public awareness to achieve better coverage across Africa is among the essence of marking Africa's Civil Registration and Vital Statistics Day.
There has been some appreciable progress, but we still are not up to the level that we should be as a country.
When a child is registered, is given an identity, I call on all Nigerians to please get their children and themselves registered under this Civil Registration and Vital Statistics system.
Specific concentration on how Nigeria can take the lead among African countries in this regard is a task key players in national population management are insisting must be achieved.
But if Nigeria takes the lead, there's so many other African countries that will, follow.
Places we term as hard to reach is easy to reach for the health people, especially during immunization. And we take advantage and ride on their back to get to those children.
Population managers are also of high expectation that data generated from the forthcoming 2023 population and housing census in Nigeria will provide a platform for a sound civil registration and vital statistics systems. In Abuja, Oluseyi Adiagbo, NTA News.
Many thanks, Oluseyi. Of course, it's important that every birth is registered. It's time for us to take our first breather. When News Extra returns, we shall take you on a ride for a peep at the traffic situation somewhere in Lagos and why it is a call for action.
Use Smart Cash, the secure way to send and receive money, pay bills, and buy airtime and data. Dial *939# from any network to get started.
I want to put Smart Cash wallet.
That's smart. Smart Cash Payment Service Bank. Money Matana says.
National Population Commission, in collaboration with United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA, organizes National Stakeholder Summit on the 2023 Population and Housing Census. Theme, Getting the People Involved. Date, Thursday, 11th August 2023. Venue, State House Conference Center, Abuja. Time, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. To be declared open by Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The goal of the summit is to broaden the national support base for the successful conduct of the 2023 census, create public awareness, and promote robust and informed national conversation on the processes and procedures for the 2023 census. The forum will feature presentations on the status of preparations for the 2023 census, methodology and procedures to be adapted, and upcoming preparatory activities in the census calendar. Participants at the forum will include invited guests are expected to arrive at the venue latest by 8:30 a.m. for rapid COVID-19 tests and be seated at the venue by 9:30 a.m. Honorable Nasia Isakwara, announcer.
His Excellency Yesom Ezenwawike, CON, GSSRS, POS Africa, Governor of River State, cordially invites the general public to the official commissioning of a 5,000 capacity auditorium for the National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, at Noah Bam in Tai local government area. This auditorium is one of many contributions by the Wike's administration to making activities in NYSC camp more purposive and experiences of corps members posted to the state more rewarded. Brigadier General Mohammed Fada, Director General of NYSC, will commission the auditorium on 11th August 2022, time 11 a.m. All invitees must adhere to COVID-19 protocol, including wearing a face mask. You welcome all invited guests. Announcer Kelvin Ebiri, Special Assistant on Media, the Governor of River State.
This food is delicious. Can I have my bitters now?
Okay.
What is this? Is this my bottle of bitters?
Yes. Any problem?
Any problem? No. I'm not going to take them. I want my yo-yo bitters now.
Darling, but that is bitter.
Look. Let me tell you. Yo-yo bitters is unique in formulation and effective in action. So take this funny stuff away and get me my yo-yo bitters now.
Yo-yo bitters is naturally enriched with ingredients that flushes out the body impurities, tackles waist pain, and resolves constipation. It is also fortified with vitamins. Yo-yo bitters boosts your body immunity against diseases and free radicals.
Because it is different in formula and action, I don't accept substitute. Yo-yo bitters inside out.
I'm not stalking him. I'm about to serve better breakfast.
Buy any monthly data plan and get up to 5 gigabytes free to use on social media. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Introducing Goodnight Power Shots Multi-Insect Killer, fast action and great fragrance. Spray 2 shots each in 4 corners of the room, stops mosquitoes without stopping family moments. Goodnight Power Shots, spray inside, stay inside. Endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association.
Managing Director, Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation, Bello Hassan, who made this remark at the capacity building workshop in Lagos, also emphasized the need for effective regulations that can prevent operational failure. Abolade Salami reports.
Liquidation of insured financial institutions has been tied around human failure, banking malpractices, capital inadequacy, lack of transparency, and huge non-performing loans. As part of its oversight functions to guarantee payment of deposits up to the maximum insured amount in the event of failure of licensed deposit institution and ensure that human errors are mitigated, the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation have brought together law enforcement agencies to acquire relevant knowledge and skills in effective investigation and prosecution of banking malpractices that led to failure of banks.
Since inception, NDIC has paid depositors, both insured and uninsured, for the deposit money banks more than 109 billion naira, which represented recoveries that the corporation made from risk assets, that's loans and advances that were granted, as well as physical assets of those banks in liquidation that were sold off.
To strengthen the zero corruption drive of the federal government at all levels of public and private engagements, the regulators, supervisors, and law enforcement agencies, stakeholders submit must collaborate to ensure that those who contributed to the liquidation of banks are thoroughly investigated and duly prosecuted in accordance with the law.
There are so many red flags that were identified in the course of investigating these failed banks. And these red flags, majorly, the management were responsible for them. They are the ones that made this bank to struggle to breathe.
NDIC is positioned to remedy the banking anomalies that led to the failure of banks in the yesteryears.
The annual workshop, which is the 11th in the series, management of the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation says is to share ideas with law enforcement agencies on development within the banking landscape that will enhance their skills in the discharge of their responsibilities. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
Elsewhere, the River State government has flagged off the dualization of Azikiwe-Ilabuchi Road to be completed within 6 months. Ogedi Inyekwe reports that the dualization of the road is one of the urban renewal programs of the River State government.
Excitement was evident as the people came out en masse to welcome the governor and his entourage for the flag-off of the Azikiwe-Ilabuchi Road, situated in Yobe, a densely populated area in Port Harcourt with predominantly low-income earners and commercial business operators. For over 2 decades, the road has remained impassable, causing hardship for both residents and business operators alike. With the flag-off of the project, the people are optimistic that their years of sufferings will soon be a thing of the past. Governor Wike says the road will be completed in 6 months as 80% of the contract sum have been paid to the contractor. He assured those whose property will be affected of compensation while advising them to conduct themselves orderly.
All the promises I have made in Port Harcourt, not somebody come and tell me which one I have not fulfilled. I have finished. Nigeria, I have finished. Obunabari, I have finished. Gobia, I have finished. For me, politics is all about accountability to the people.
Former Governor of Ondo State, Olusegun Mimiko, says Governor Wike has undoubtedly changed the landscape of River State through infrastructural development.
I urge you not to relent in doing good, not to be weary of fighting the right battles, and never give up on the destiny of our nation, the manifest destiny as a leader of nations.
Upon completion, the Azikiwe-Ilabuchi Road will become a dual carriageway and will serve as an alternative route to reduce the heavy vehicular movement on Ikwere Road. In Port Harcourt, Ogedi Inyekwe, NTA News.
And away from the treasure base of the nation to the center of excellence, where in a matter of months, Ibeju Lekki local government area of Lagos State will be on the world map as another industrial hub, hosting the nation's first deep sea port, a pirate refinery and fertilizer plant, among others. Ahead of full commercial operations of these economic entities, what is the traffic situation along the corridor? Adeniyi Taiwo is here to fill us in.
49.5 kilometer Lekki-Epe Expressway was first constructed in the 1980s by the Lateef Jakonde administration of Lagos State. The level of development along this corridor has been so huge to the point that traffic congestion has been a permanent feature. From pillars that we are getting, the sociology of this corridor may change further with the level of industrial development that is set to take off down this corridor.
It is a typical day along Lekki-Epe Expressway with horn blaring, traffic dragging, and tempers flaring. The gridlock knots and unknots depending on the time of the day and on how much people like Kolawole Tajudeen, a traffic warden, can put into it.
It will take you nothing less than 1 hour or 2 hours to get to this spot.
A distance of
not even up to a kilometer.
Rosemary is frustrated with the traffic and has to make some hard choices in order to cope.
It's terrible. I had to change my children's school 3 times because of this traffic.
Ezekiah Isaac is happy that Aweyaya, one of the trouble spots along the axis, is now receiving attention. But despite this intervention and orders on the expressway, he is worried about what will become of traffic in the area when the likes of Lekki Deep Sea Port begins full commercial operations.
When all the container starts, all the tanker starts, trooping out, it's going to look more clumsy.
While Dangote Refinery is working hard to begin operation before the year ends, September 2022 is already projected for full commercial activities at the Lekki Deep Sea Port.
I'm aware as a town planner that the government has plans to make alternative roads available. So I feel like the government should expedite actions on that.
So whichever way, I think all those things have been taken into consideration. And like I mentioned to you, you see, we are making our own a four-lane road, two on both sides.
Until that happens, residents and commuters around Lekki Epe Expressway may have more price of development to pay. In Lagos, Adeniyi Taiwo, NTA News.
Many thanks, Adeniyi. Of course, the big question is whether traffic can actually be taken away from Lagos. Let's wait to see what the government will do. Now, experts in the construction industry are affirming the imperatives for adequate mix of building material as a necessary foundation for quality of building projects. However, the question that often arises, especially after a structure collapses, is whether or not such a building was supervised by an engineer. Members of the Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, COREN, are using their 30th Engineering Assembly to address the falling standards in the construction industry and the place of engineering. Olabode Arewa reports.
Incidents of collapse of solid structures such as this are no more news to Nigerians who blame the trend on the activities of quack developers who do not obey building codes and who also use substandard material for construction. Engineers at this meeting are strategizing on ways to domesticate the codes, the standards and the regulations guiding construction as a panacea for failures in engineering infrastructure.
Materials, yes, it could be one of the sources of the failures in structures, in engineering structures, but also even the supervisions. A client will decide to change supervision teams, different types.
For you to practice engineering, you need to be guided by some codes, by some standards, because engineering is a profession that deals with human lives, and that is why it is regulated.
Shida Mola and Gloria Nkiruka, two young engineers participating in this conference, believe that the buy-in of the public is necessary to successfully uphold building standards.
If you don't have requisite people with advanced knowledge handling things, you get to see that things do not go well. And that is why we advise that if you must do anything, ensure that you put the right set of people on the job.
When you have a registered engineer to build your house for you, you see that you have a house that is of quality and that is of standard. A lot of builders, they are not registered current members, and when they are not registered engineers, you find that you have lapses.
As the regulatory agency for the engineering profession continues to collaborate with other agencies to deepen the Nigerian content policy in the use of materials and engineers, professionals like Sheyi and Gloria are assured of a future with improved standards and practices. In Abuja, Olabode Arewa, NTA News.
Of course, Nigerians are looking forward to that future of improved standard and practices by both engineers and the players on the field. Now, amidst the lingering ASU strike and the high rate of employment are the opportunities inherent in farming. The question is, are the youths showing the sort of interests expected? Join us for this and more in our next segment as we take another break. Stay with us.
Fighter from Niger, 60 years of comfort. Quality is fighter food. Quality is fighter from for sure. It's fighter. Take you for the joy, memories of comfort.
Vitafoam is proudly Nigerian and constantly support Nigerians with consistent quality products for comfort and well-being. With Vitafoam, you don't just sleep. We give you the comfort that gets you recharged. Vitafoam, the fine art of living.
Have you been disconnected because you didn't link your national identification number to your MTN number? Don't worry. If you already have your NIN, here are 5 easy ways to reconnect. 1. Dial *785 hash. 2. Text your NIN to 785. 3. Use WhatsApp to chat with Ziggy. 4. Use the My MTN NG app. 5. Visit mtn.ng/NIN. Whatever method you choose, make sure you get a confirmation message. If you don't have an NIN, simply visit www.mtn.ng to book an appointment, or just walk into an MTN store or NIMC center near you. What are we doing today?
I did look for pension fund administrator. What's up? Makes sense. Wake up for me. No be the time when story go enter the matter when it's time to deliver. No. Make sure them no go stress you. Call them, then they accessible. Customer care where they on point. No go regret when you try up. Cause visible investment. Everything you just a blend. Make you just premium pension today. Make that switch to premium pension. Premium pension. Make that switch to premium pension.
Join over 700,000 satisfied members and enjoy the premium experience at our offices across the 36 states in Nigeria, including the FCT. Call 094615-700-704 to make the switch today. Premium pension. Active today, premium tomorrow.
All I do is win. I wake up, I win. I close my eyes, and I win. Keep up on me, come on, let's go. Keep running to the world, stop spinning. Independent women, come on, now let's get it. I'ma keep running to the world, stop.
Wow, you look great. Did you just come to yourself? Darling superstar, great birthday, salon fresh, no matter what.
ARM has partnered with Techstars to launch the ARM Lab Lagos Techstars Accelerator Program, designed to empower fintech and proptech startups in Africa for success. Applicants to these programs stand a chance to receive up to $120,000 in funding, access to 20,000 global investors, and mentorship opportunities from over 7,000 industry experts. Are you a fintech or proptech startup in need of funding? Don't miss this chance to take your business idea to the next level. Hurry and apply today by visiting www.apply.techstars.com. Global is the app that brings you anything you want. Like a better crispy chicken, feeling after work, or what you need from the supermarket, sharp. Even some diapers to escape real wahala. Download the app, order a Global, and we get it.
Wake up the champion in your child. Give them energy to go further. Milo Active Go and the natural goodness of malt, milk, and cocoa helps wake up the champion in your child.
We don't like to eat better, more nutritious meals, more veggies, but we want it tasty and easy too. No cubes, that's the secret. Made with real ingredients like chicken, parsley, and garlic, and enriched with iron, so your meals are better for you and more delicious too. That's the cocoa. Let's give it some accolades. Change your world by changing what's on your plate.
Welcome back. Nigeria is said to be endowed with rich, arable land for all year-round farming, with prospects of higher yields and profit. Yet, agriculture seems unattractive to the teeming youth population. Now, one wonders what the turnoff for the youth is. Tessio Murray takes a look at opportunities in the agricultural sector on which youths can leverage for job and wealth creation.
The land is green and fertile with more farmers needed like Clement to till the arable land in Nigeria, of course to feed its large population.
For Clement, farming seems interesting. He is not one of the many youths who are yet to see the prospect in agriculture.
I decided not to rely and depend on my work alone. I also involve myself in this farm work, which it helped me and my family a lot.
For decades, most youths are said to have considered agriculture as an unattractive venture. Obsolete farming tools, inadequate interventions for the sector, weak extension services, and lack of regulated market price for farm produce are some of the challenges impeding the growth and development of agricultural sector. However, the narrative has changed as the present administration attaches premium to the sector in its economic diversification drive.
The best way forward is for them to embrace agriculture. We propose greenhouse farming. We have anchor borrowers programs. We have free credit to the farmers in general. So these are some of the programs that were initiated by the present administration.
It's not all about white-collar job. So I will encourage the youth, having tested it, I will encourage the youth not to see agriculture as a by-the-way thing.
With the growing population of unemployed graduates, reviving practical farms in schools and among core members during their service year, with interventions from government, as well as effective use of technology, agriculturalists and the youths believe the sector can pull millions of unemployed to be employers of labor.
The best thing to make agriculture to be attractive to our teeming youth and even elderly is to go into mechanized farming.
When people say agriculture, I want the youth to understand that agriculture does not mean only that you go into farm. You can also go into aquatic resources, which are fishery, where you can get shrimps and co, which are even more expensive than the crude oil.
They feel it's not a white collar job, so the dressing tatteredly and going to the farm, all of those are a kind of turn off for the youth.
While youths are encouraged to venture into agriculture, tackling security challenges is key. In Abuja, Tessie Omeri, NTA News.
It's important to mention that agriculture is also a viable option for any youth who wants to make it big in life. Yes, I can say that. The use of plastic and polythene bags for packing water and carbonated drinks has no doubt become a part of our daily lives in Nigeria. Olukemi San reports that experts are warning that exposure of these products to rays of sun by retailers can cause microbial and chemical deterioration of the products. Her report.
Ajaokuta, the fast developing capital of Ekiti State. Many of its houses within the city center have one commercial, especially buying and selling outfits attached to them. This is an all too common scene in our Nigeria of today. Drinking water packaged in polythene bags, popularly called pure water, and loaded in open vehicles as they are conveyed around the street under scorching sun to retailers. Equally familiar to us all is the practice of sellers displaying plastic packaged liquid products like bottled and carbonated drinks out in the sun. To medical doctors and laboratory scientists, there's a looming danger.
The bottle actually contains some chemicals, and one of the chemicals is actually bisphenol A. And what it does is actually over time, in women, it destroys what you actually the hormonal profile. And there is a pathway, especially the estrogens.
Cancer is getting common. Now, this is a year of kidney failure. So searches are going on. We come to discover that these things we looked as common, they are really causing the problems we are yet to know.
Apart from causing cancer because of the hydrocarbon that is generated during when it's placed in the sun, there are some of them that are also cause microbes that are cause typhoid.
It's within the power of consumers to therefore protect themselves and reduce the risk of the spread of cancer by avoiding bottled and sachet pure water and carbonated drinks exposed to sun radiation. Many people are oblivious of the dangers of some of the things they consume.
I haven't, seen any reports saying that.
Microbiologists say the fact that the danger cannot be seen with naked eye Unnoticed does not mean that the health hazards are not.
It has been established by science that consuming those things or the bottled water under the sun may likely is actually dangerous. It's harmful.
Experts advise regulatory authorities to put stringent laws in place to curb harmful practices, especially among producers and retailers of edible products. In Ajaokuta, Olukemi Sonny, NTA News.
Many thanks to Lukebe. That report is actually an eye-opener. And of course, plastic bags and polythene bags really should be checked. Now, let's talk about raising children. As children grow, they need the guidance of parents, guardians, or caregivers to put them on the right track on the journey of life with appropriate sanctions and rewards. However, in recent times, some punishment meted out to children far outweighs the offense or is too severe when compared to the age of the child. Olayinka Ojo in this report takes a look at whether corporal punishment should be allowed in schools or not. Take a listen.
The United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, says more than 85% of Nigerian children between ages 1 and 14 experience violent discipline in schools, with nearly 1 in 3 children experiencing severe physical injury. This has concern whether corporal punishment should be allowed in schools or not.
Make sure that the corporal punishment is always there to check them. You pick me, you kneel down, not necessarily something that we create mark on that child.
I think they should stop flogging children in school.
Recent studies have shown that this practice has led to injuries and sometimes deaths in schools. The practice impedes Nigeria's process towards sustainable development goals. It also brings about negative rather than positive consequences in the whole process of teaching and learning.
Is that it hardens students. It makes them to form gangs.
Physical punishment causes not only pain, sadness, fear, shame, and anger. It is to change this practice, which tends to increase child aggression and antisocial behavior, as well as lower intellectual achievements in children, that these experts are advocating an end to corporal punishment in schools.
Ensure that there are effective mechanisms in place for reporting violence when it occurs.
For Abdulsalam and Priska, it is the dangerous method of controlling or maintaining behavior and discipline.
Implement correction without having to hit the child. For me, the punishment shouldn't be ended because there are some students who deserve such punishments. It's just that the level at which we punish the child should be either not too harsh.
Experts say children's learning experience should be positive rather than traumatic. Olayinka Ojo, NTA News.
And still on education, the Standards Organization of Nigeria is saying no to education tourism. That is not all. It has given marching orders to heads of educational institutions across the country to comply with international best practices for quality service delivery. This was at the adoption of Education Management Standards meeting in Abuja. Benny Adams in this report takes a look at the issues of quality in the nation's institutions of learning.
Figures from United States Embassy in Nigeria show that between 2020 and 2021, 12,860 Nigerian students, which is 33% of all African students, are studying in the United States of America, making Nigeria both the leading source of students from the continent and 10th largest place of origin country worldwide, a figure reflecting only the USA. Stakeholders say it is not a bad idea as exchange study programs bring new knowledge, but bad when it is an outright movement of learners from Nigerian institutions due to poor quality of education services in the country.
The mission and the policies of our educational organizations are not backed up by measurable quality educational objectives.
In here are experts in quality assurance from different institutions and government agencies in education and learning sectors across the country. Their mission here is simply to agree on establishing and maintaining standardization activities in the education sector in line with international best practices, with the belief that it will change the narrative.
This will give our education system a global acceptance in the world market. Globalization of products and services, we all know, is what is happening all over the world.
Professor Grace Otinwa from the University of Lagos was elected to chair the National Mirror Committee, saddled with the responsibility of changing the tide under the supervision of SON.
I will represent this great country of ours called Nigeria in an excellent manner.
The Standards Organization of Nigeria believes that with the nation's borders open to all forms of trade with other African countries, it is important to promote and sustain the country's learning institutions by ensuring that the services that are provided in schools meet the needs of learners, promote equal opportunities for all students, and earn the confidence and approval of learner sponsors. In Abuja, Benny Adams, NTA News.
And away from the classroom, let's go straight into the jungle, as the king has been overthrown from his jungle in the battle between mankind and the lion family. Well, as the world marks Lions Day, it is clear that every victory for man in this battle is a loss for humanity in the war against climate change. Onengiye Fineface will break it down for us.
Weighing between 300 to 600 pounds, lions are the second largest and proud members of the cat family. The lion is unarguably the king of the forest. Now, whether strutting alone or in his pride, the sight of a lion sends shivers down the spine of the beholder.
It helps to reduce the incidence of disease, spreading of disease. That is why when it is hunted, it looks for the weaker one, the sick ones, and by the time it eliminates a sick animal, the incidence of disease spread is reduced.
But lions are gradually losing their pride, no thanks to human interference and worsening climatic conditions.
Well, globally, there's about 20,000 lions left in the world. That's it, in the entire world. When we come here to Nigeria, unfortunately, there's only 30 to 50 lions left in the wild.
Agricultural activity, forest encroachment, illegal logging, all these depletes the forest, which is their habitat, the savannas, which is their habitat.
In some society, before you marry, you must bring either the head or the tail or any part of a lion. The development of traditional medicine has a lot to do with lion parts.
Then also pet trade. People want lion cubs, so they kill the lion parents to get the cubs. Hunters that goes into the bush to set snares for antelopes and whatnot, all other forms of bushmeat. This snares also catches the lions and injures them, kills them.
The situation with lions in Nigeria is even worse. The country is fast losing its wild cat population to unhealthy environmental practices.
Ostensibly, it's to celebrate lions that we have amongst us, but it has also become a medium, and very importantly, to call attention to the plight of lions in Africa and then especially here in Nigeria.
So I hope that the lion population here in Nigeria can actually recover, because if you can have a healthy lion population, you can make money from it.
The commemoration of Lions Day is part of global efforts to preserve biological diversity by raising awareness on the importance of living in harmony with nature and natural ecosystems. Onengiye Fineface, NTA News.
Beautiful reports on NGA, but I would like to see you do a stand-up in the midst of the lions next time. All right, there's no cause for alarm where the spread of Marburg virus into Nigeria is concerned. Those saddled with disease control assure Nigerians. We shall bring you this and more after this next breather that beckons. Join us again.
Come to the National Center for Women Development, a home away from home. With our beautifully renovated hotel, the center can also boast of a 1,700-seater auditorium for conferences. The edifice has an African, continental, and Arabian restaurants, a daycare creche for nursing mothers. There is also an ICT department for computer training, and also a training department for catering, tailoring, and hairdressing. For more information, please contact the National Center for Women Development, Tafa Balewa Way, opposite the Central Bank of Nigeria's TBN headquarters, Central District Area, Abuja, or telephone 070-511-1163. National Center for Women Development, rebranding, restructuring, and repositioning.
Nigeria Gulf Federation announces its first Nigeria Gulf Federation Summit. This summit will discuss salient topical issues that relate to the development and upliftment of Gulf in Nigeria. Chairman General IBM Haruna. Special guest of honor, Honorable Minister of Sports, Mr. Sunday Dare. Convener, Otumba Olusegun Rushewe, OON, President Nigeria Gulf Federation. Date 31st August to 2nd September 2022. Venue, Ladikwali Hall, Sheraton Hotel and Towers, Abuja. Time 10 a.m. prompt. This event is supported by Polaris Bank, Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa Independent Television, AIT, Gulf Garden, Anchor Insurance, and Royal Ceramics. Otumba Olusegun Rushewe, OON, President, Nigeria Gulf Federation, announcer.
It pain me. It pain you. It pain us. It pain everybody. Yes. But what? Bloodshed, scatter, come out, it no go suffer. This one they talk, and make them go if they want go. This one they talk, we go come out, we go. This one say, make we scatter, make we burn, make we do everything. When you scatter finish, where you go? Okay, you go take private jet, carry your family go. But make I ask you, what about your uncle, mama, auntie, brother, sister? What about them? Remember, who throws stone for market? You don't know whether the stone go touch your own person. If the two will go come out from your mouth, you no go fit gather us together as one people. Shut up with please. War no get friend. You don't know language. You don't know anything. So if our we get too much, make we sit down at the table of dialogue. Nigeria na my own. Nigeria na your own. Nigeria na our own. Make we come together. Keep them together.
Forget last season, forget the winners and the losers, forget every moment that stole the show, because this is a brand new season on Go TV, and it's going to be bigger and better than any season before it, with over 7 leagues and cup competitions, plus a World Cup. Make sure you get the best seats in the house this new football season. Get a decoder, Go Tenor, plus 1 month Go TV Max for 6,900 Naira only. Bigger season, greater football. Go TV. Love it.
August meeting is where women always plan how the grassroots will be able to work.
Good to have you back. As the journey towards a sustainable post-insurgency recovery deepens, placing healthcare sector on a sound pedestal to meet people's ever-growing demands for medical services becomes imperative. To this end, Yobe State government is investing huge amounts of resources in the sector, as demonstrated by the construction of a world-class maternal, newborn and child health center, which is nearing completion. Yunusa Suleiman reports that this commitment is to improve access to quality health services in the face of emerging health challenges.
The 14th of January 2020 will forever be remembered as it was the day that healthcare sector in Yobe State received a major boost, with the foundation laying for the construction of maternal, newborn and child health center, one of the largest in northern Nigeria.
Yes, it is one of the largest in the region, according to state officials, designed to improve access to quality and responsive healthcare services, as it has the capacity to accommodate more than 250 patients for medical care in areas such as gynecology, obstetric, as well as pediatric, among others.
This structure is about the largest in the northern part of the country, and it was actually conceived based on the need to address the maternal, neonatal and child health negative indices.
Already at 95% level of completion, state-of-the-art medical equipment have been procured and are ready to be installed at the monumental infrastructure, and when fully becomes operational, the facility is expected to serve as a referral, teaching as well as research center. This is with a view to providing short, medium and long-term medical solutions as well as discouraging medical tourism.
The issue of manpower is in the front burner, and government is doing whatever and all that it is to ensure that the necessary manpower are put in place to man and make these places functional.
Thus, this commitment is coming as government in the state has built one functional primary healthcare center in each of the political ward in the state, upgraded numerous comprehensive health centers to general hospitals, in addition to upgrading 4 general hospitals to specialized hospitals in order to offer specialized healthcare services obtained in tertiary healthcare facilities. The maternal, newborn and child healthcare center is expected to be inaugurated by December this year. In Damaturu, Yunusa Suleiman, NTA News.
Still on health, anthrax, Ebola, cholera, COVID, monkeypox, and now Marburg. You can say the world has really seen some. In Nigeria at the moment, there is heightened surveillance at points of entry and strengthening of laboratory capacities to confirm Marburg virus, if there is any, following an outbreak of the virus in neighboring Ghana. Uche Ugochukwu reports on this preparedness to prevent and or contend with Marburg in the country.
It is a source of great concern to WHO Africa that 1 in every 3 confirmed public health events in Africa in the past decade is zoonotic, with Ebola, Lassa fever, monkeypox, and now Marburg, which was declared in Guinea in August 2021, but has now spread to Ghana.
As rising urbanization encroaches on the natural habitats of the continent's wildlife, and a demand for food from an especially fast-growing population burgeons, the risk is heightened.
The development in Ghana puts Nigeria Center for Disease Control and other key players on their toes.
We've managed Ebola before, we have been managing Lassa fever, and then also our infection prevention and control system has been growing, and then particularly with recent COVID-19, so capacity of healthcare workers have been built. We have treatment centers where healthcare workers have been trained on infection prevention and control, and also management of viral hemorrhagic fever.
With the response strategy of
states with international airports like FCT, Lagos, Port Harcourt, where there is likelihood of travelers coming from the affected country into Nigeria.
The risk of spread is said to be reduced as the situation in Ghana is under control, while there is reported increase in disease surveillance in Togo and Benin. Marburg virus, experts say, can only be transmitted when the infected person starts presenting symptoms, unlike COVID-19. Uche Ugochukwu, NTA News.
It is a serious matter, and we must be at alert. Now, with Noah, this next story is another wake-up call to parents to monitor their children and wards. It's reminiscent of Frank Olise's opening line on Newsline, those days. Remember it? It's 9 p.m. Do you know where your children are? Well, the National Orientation Agency is cautioning Nigerians, especially youths, not to be deceived into joining terrorist groups as foot soldiers to destabilize the place of Nigeria. This was during the sensitization 12 major quarters in Akure on the increased trend of terrorist recruitment of child soldiers. Tony Batire reports.
Insecurity breeds no good, and numerous sensitizations have always placed premium on the collective responsibility of the people towards stimulating a secured environment for development to thrive. Ondo State Coordinator, National Orientation Agency, Mrs. Adelayo Adefolalu, while stressing the need for parents, religious leaders, and traditional rulers to guide their words and subjects and be vigilant of activities of terrorists, noted that this sensitization became imperative in the face of the daunting insecurity challenge in the country.
We should talk to their children. Like if anybody offers them a job, like recruitment for the army, that is all false. We should not rely on the social media. The social media is full of fake news.
This is a very useful visit because the message they brought is very beneficial.
In Southwest, if we are not careful now watchful and speak to these children, what they think again might happen in all those things.
They urge the public to report any strange and suspicious movement to security agencies in their areas. In Akure, Tony Batire, NTA News.
Still staying with Noah, as a threat of insecurity resonates globally, relevant agencies are expected to partner on all fronts to mitigate the impact of these threats. Kenneth Nanim reports that the National Center for the Coordination of Early Warning and Response Mechanism came knocking on the doors of the National Orientation Agency for such collaborative action towards solving challenges of human insecurity.
Established in June this year through Executive Order 12 under ECOWAS instruments governing the regional peace and security architecture of West Africa, the National Center for the Coordination of Early Warning and Response Mechanism has the mandate to deal with every challenge that threatens the well-being of the Nigerian people, with emphasis on human security. With issues of crimes, human rights abuses, public health, climate change and environmental challenges, terrorism and other security concerns on the increase, it becomes imperative that agencies come together and galvanize action at the peak of time.
Our agency's mandate is to improve the preparedness of strategic institutions, to work with civil society as well in promoting a culture of resilience and readiness in our public life, in our communities, and within our strategic institutions.
The National Orientation Agency is quick to grab these hands of fellowship extended to it, to play a complementary role, ensuring that relevant authorities and the citizens respond to early warnings against emergencies.
Any warning sign is very apt in security matters. Even recently, the NSA sent us a letter requesting that our Chief Orientation and Mobilization Officer should begin to enlighten the public on the recruitment of child soldiers. That's a proactive attempt.
The partnership initiative is also expected to leverage the wide reach of the National Orientation Agency's desk officers across the 774 local government areas of the country to thrive. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
As you know, security is everybody's business. Do your part well. Let's take our last break for the night. And when News Extra returns, we shall bring you the package on sexism in sports, following the fantastic outing of the great Nigerian woman at the two recent global sports arena. Please stay.
How
How did I get here? It all started shortly after I graduated from MSTC, the Model Skills Training Center, with a certificate in ICT. I successfully developed a data management program that has been called the software of the future. Thanks to its success, everyone wants it, and as you can see, now everyone wants me. But I'm not alone. The skills training programs at MSTC are equipping young Nigerians to become the next big success story. Whether it's ICT, mechatronics, facility technology, electronics and computer networking, or culinary studies, a certificate at MSTC is the way of the future. And just like me, there he is. Everyone will want you to.
NTA, developing the nation's human resource. To every politician, as the campaigns gain momentum and passions begin to rise, remember, the errors of your opponents do not make you a success. Do not run down your opponent and inflame passions to violence between and among your supporters. What counts is what you plan to do for the electorate and how you intend to relieve the sufferings and bring succor. Nigeria is in dire need of patriotic leaders at all levels, leaders who will make national development their priority. Concentrate on telling the electorate what you intend to do when you get into office. Focus on making your vision clear to the electorate. Don't engage in verbal abuses, fake news or speeches. Keep dealing with issues that will bring progress. You win the hearts and minds of the people by being above board, by being civil, patriotic, and showing empathy. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. A message from the National Orientation Agency.
Music is fuel that fires up our souls. Today, African music has a dominant place on the world map. This massive music movement creating waves across the globe.
I have seen the evolution and the growth of this industry.
But every movement starts with a story. And the best place to start any story is at the very beginning.
There's a ceremonial energy that can only have come from Africa.
Nigerian female athletes have continued to excel in global competitions with recent successes recorded at the World Athletic Championships and the Commonwealth Games. Austin Edemudu highlights how achievements of the Nigerian women in sporting events can become the catalyst for national development without recourse to sexism.
In recent times, Nigerian female athletes have been putting up performances that overshadow their male counterparts in major sporting competitions. One could argue that it is a new era where women athletes have broken all socio-cultural barriers to showcase their potentials and capacity in all spheres of life.
So we can see that our women are doing very well now in sports. So parents and society should stop discriminating against the girl child with preference to the male child.
Successful countries in the world who have really risen above the rest of us in the world have found a way to make parity and sexism limited and removed from public life.
For instance, the historic achievements of the Nigerian female footballers in Africa and the heroic performances of Nigerian female athletes in global competitions speak volume.
I'm super happy to have been going of mine, to go over 7 at the Commonwealth Games.
I was confident that I will win the gold, so that was it.
Today, a female Nigerian athlete, Tobin Amosan, is Africa and world champion.
Go to his Anderson. Toby Anderson. Records in one night. And she makes history by becoming Nigeria's first world champion.
It's been going on, consistency, hard work, and dedication brought me this far.
Interestingly, all the 12 gold medals won by Team Nigeria in the just concluded Commonwealth Games in Birmingham were products of the female athletes.
If we're given the opportunity because we need more investment to go into the women for as a girl child,
as a girl child, and life after sports, because this is the competitive aspect of it. What happened to us after we retired?
This is why the women folks are also clamoring for constitutional recognition of their role in our country, and they're asking for something that will appear like affirmative action, some kind of percentage, even for political offices. We push for adequate funding of the sports ministry and by extension the sports activities in Nigeria.
We have to go back to the drawing table and continue strategizing, to continue initiating ideas, to continue getting more sponsors.
It is now a wake-up call for the Nigerian male athletes to up their game and compete effectively and fairly side by side with their female counterparts for self-esteem and national honors. I'm Austin Edemodo, NTA News.
Brilliant package, Austin. Of course, I must add that women are doing great in every field, whether sports, just name it. Everywhere, women are taking the lead. I know the men will not want to hear this, but I must say that what a man can do, a woman can do much better. Okay, now the collaborative efforts between Niger State Government and Nigeria Academy of Science in stemming the increasing wave of gender-based violence has recorded a significant achievement, with increase in reported cases and development of standard operating procedures and training manual on the management of the menace. This was evident during the presentation of scorecard by critical stakeholders of the one-year initiative at the State-End Gender-Based Violence Summit and Project Close-Out Ceremony. Fatima Aliyu reports.
Niger State has reportedly witnessed an increase in gender-based violence due to high incidences of banditry and kidnapping, mostly in rural areas, which has led to the displacement of many people from their homes. The collaborative efforts is therefore designed to create a pathway to addressing gender-based violence through sustained sensitization, provision of support for its survivors, which has continued to yield positive results. Within the year under review, out of 175 rape cases reported, 8 convictions were made, 77 prosecutions, while 60 cases are undergoing trials.
Many segments of the communities are effectively mobilized to participate in fight against GBV issues in the state.
Even before the GBV committee was set up, I've already started a move on the VAP Act law, that's violence against persons, as a private member bill, and alhamdulillah it has been assented.
This process may be slow, but there is a significant improvement on what it used to be. A lot has to be done. We need to break gender norms, cultural barriers, and some traditional practices, but it is an ongoing process. But what we have seen is a remarkable improvement in awareness among people.
Panelists at the event include legal practitioners and human rights activists, as well as representatives of traditional institutions, took turns to give an overview on how the successes recorded can be sustained. By the end of the one-year collaborative efforts in sight, Niger State government says it is committed to consolidate on success recorded through training of stakeholders and creation of sexual assault referral centers in general hospitals across the 25 local government areas in the state. In Mina, Fatima Aliyu, NTA News.
Gender-based violence must stop. President Muhammadu Buhari is saddened to learn of the death of John Chairman, a former Reuters bureau chief for Nigeria, extending deep condolences to his family, friends and colleagues, including everyone in the various media organizations where he worked. The president recalls that as a veteran newsman with the reputable international news agency, editor of Reuters Africa and the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Chairman was respected for his brilliant contributions and editorial role of covering news about Africa from a business and development perspective beyond the narrow stereotypes of disaster and poverty. The president believes that the remarkable legacies he left behind will continue to inspire current and upcoming members of the fourth estate of the realm, and prays for the peaceful repose of the soul of the deceased and comfort for those that mourn. A quick peep at the weather outlook for Thursday.
Glad you could join us. We have
some good rainfall setting up for the next couple of days. We already have weather systems bearing down over the country, giving rains to the northeast as at Wednesday evening. We expect these weather systems to propagate westwards, aiding rainfall activities by Thursday morning. We expect it to be concentrated more to the northeastern half of the country by the first half of the day. We also expect rains to extend to the central states and the southeastern part of the country. By the second half of Thursday, we expect the rains to be more to the northwestern parts, affecting the central parts to the west and the southern area. But to the southwest, we expect the rains to be less compared to what we expect over the central and the southeast. And we may have drizzle over Lagos, Ogun, and parts of Oyo State. At the end of the day, we expect copious rainfall amounts over parts of Yobe, Bauchi, Jigawa, and Sokoto, Zamfara, and Kebbi axis. I leave you with the forecast over some selected cities.
And that's our package on News Extra this Wednesday. Many thanks for your time, and please join us again next Wednesday for News Extra. I'm Henry John. Have a good night.